Alright, so we've played a bunch of blue-white with Terminus. This is the first time we've played Jeskai featuring Terminus, so we'll be neat to see how it feels. Worth noting we don't even have the full 4 Bolt or Helix. We've got 8 red cards in here and just kind of like the blue-white-ish core. We give up cards like Field of Ruin to have access to more with these red spells. Worth noting too that we're only on 24 lands. That's one of the things I dislike about a lot of these builds. People are really greedy, basically. Play 25 lands. Play that last Colonnade. Play another utility land. Thank you, Mason, for the bits. That is the roster from the SCG top 8. You should click on his name and give his Twitch channel a follow. He streams on occasion, too. I'd probably got an Electrolyze for a 25th land looking at this offhand. Thank you for the bits, Tino. And Creamy McCrunch, 4 months. Give me a timeout. I got you. Thanks for the third of a year. Put these towards Zada as well. The salty bits. I mean, like, I feel like if you're a blue-white control player, these are the hands you dream about. But, like, if you're any other Magic player, you, like, wake up in cold sweats thinking about hands like this. The 4-color Geist deck that we just got done playing is basically a 4-color control deck. It just plays Geist to St. Traff so it can actually kill people when it needs to. This is a matchup where we're super happy to have Terminus and not traditional sweepers. Both Supreme Verdict's bad against this deck, both because of Selfless Spirit and Spell Queller. Croc! Thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Should probably sit down while I eat. I keep dropping things. So They almost certainly have rattle chains here, right? I think I'm supposed to do this and just like hope they don't kill me by 4 so that way I can Jace next turn and Terminus the turn after. Wow, no rattle chains there is absurdly good for us. Yeah, I'd assume this matchup is... I'd expect that this matchup is a little bit better for Jeskai than it is for traditional blue-white, just because we have more point removal. I definitely wouldn't expect this matchup to be good, per se, but I definitely think it's probably a little bit better for this deck than it is for straight blue-white. This is kind of interesting. So because I drew the opt here, I think I'm actually going to put these back like this, so that way I can opt the following turn on their turn to untap with a cleared board. Thanks for the bits, Nicholas. I appreciate it. Well, pretty confident they're straight blue-white at this point. Sure. I can even opt Logic Knot plus Terminus through... I guess the Mausoleum Wanderer is bigger here at this point. It's a 2-power dork, Supreme Phantom. So I can let this resolve, respond to this trigger, opt into Terminus with 3 mana up. The problem is I lose to any other spirit if I do that. So the conservative play here is to just opt Terminus now, right? Just like clean out the things they have in play at the moment. I guess I could opt Terminus now and then Logic Knot the Supreme Phantom. No, I can't do that because I'm going to have to pay 2 more for the Terminus. I think I just opt Terminus now to be conservative. Because they have like a Selfless Spirit or another Mausoleum Wanderer or something like that. They get to like make this thing larger in response and then just like be able to counter my Terminus. Which would be really bad for me. They have played a land already. You guys like take my 3 for 1 here and be happy with it. Simon, thanks for shipping your Prime this way again this month. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine. Dermers, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed this month. We're going to sit 13 here. We needed that. I needed that. If this Teferi just draws a card and like gains us 6, I'm okay with that, I think. That's really good. So hopefully they fetch at end of turn here. They're fetching now. Are they fetching a tap land? Please fetch a tap land. Sweet. So what we're gonna do here is We get to untap these 2 lands with Teferi. Then I get to crack this fetch. And I'm going to go ahead and Field of Ruin this Mutavault. And I'm doing all of this now because I don't want to get blown out by a Spell Queller. And then I get to path this Supreme Phantom, which should leave the board in a state where I'm going to get to untap with this Teferi. And once I untap with the Teferi, the game's probably over. I think that's like the point of no return for them. Are we done here? What are we doing, opponent? Are we done yet? What you thinking over there, opponent? Cast Counterspell. Alright, good. Good. I understand. I appreciate someone who understands when the game is over. God bless. Huh. We actually don't. Once you get both Jake and Elwood onto the board, the opponent should concede. We're on a mission from God, see? It's a spirit slaying mission from God. This board does not have that many cards in it for the creature matchups, but that kind of makes sense because we should kind of dunk the creature matchups as is, right? I think I'm gonna trim the logic knots and bring in the Cliques and the Baneslayer here. It was a Blues Brothers reference. I just took it and ran with it. I'm just cultured, so I know what the Blues Brothers are naturally. I'm from Chicago. I'm obligated to know what the Blues Brothers are. This is well past my stream time. I think I'd probably trim Logic Knot or an Electrolyze for a 25th land. But yeah, the spell base in here seems pretty reasonable. I'll get my sword eventually. Tempest Shadows. I'll take your training sword today. Thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. I think Engineered Explosives is too slow and clunky. I think especially the fact that they have access to Selfless Spirit makes Engineered Explosives not good enough here. Was my local shop before I stopped playing locally. There was a small store called Grifalia's Airy in Bloomington, Illinois, which has since been bought and rebranded as Red Raccoon Games in downtown Bloomington. Of course, Demers, I got you. Yeah, this is not one of my normal stream times. This morning stream ended early, and since I have to be off on Wednesday, it is Ken's shop. What's going on, Adrian? Good evening. Since I'm off on Wednesday because Moto has absurd downtime this Wednesday, I didn't want to not stream this evening. Supreme Phantom. So this is definitely just a bolt the dork turn, right? So one of the things people often, I've heard a lot of people talk about this deck, especially like someone in chat was just talking about how they're not certain if this matchup is good or bad for their deck. These flash decks give you a lot of rope to hang yourself with if you're not careful with how you're playing against them. And I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make while playing against these instant speed decks is to not play enough of your cards on your turn while your opponent is tapped out. I think just like one of the best things you can be doing is just making sure your removal spells resolve so they can't stick and form a board presence. Not being able to time people out in other streams feel bad. Keeps on driven. Oh, glad to what's going on, Dallas. Thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Yeah. The Moto downtime update is for the new set. Guilds pre-releases start on Thursday on Magic Online, so hopefully we'll have access to cards by Thursday evening or Friday. So I'm going to play Search for Azcanta here before I play my land, because if my opponent plays Spellqueller on my Search for Azcanta, I'm going to play Flooded Strand. However, if they let this resolve, I'm just going to play Celestial Colonnade. That's a good point, Sayman. If I sequence a little bit differently there, they likely counter the path to exile, and then I bolt and they don't get the land. Yeah, I think you're right that sequencing is better. So they could have a Rattle Chains off this Aether Vial, but it also looks like they're auto-passing, so getting a little bit of knowledge from it being Magic Online. Yeah, so my opponent could potentially just like be down a land tier if I just sequenced a little bit better. So that's a good thing to point out. Post-board, depending on what their configuration looks like, they might just be stone cold to this Baneslayer Angel. Now, some Spirit players, people that keep up, should know that we have some amount of Angels coming in here, but, so some, they might be encouraged to keep some in. Awesome content as always. Keep it up. Hitchens, thank you for the 5-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, both Bolt and Helix are, like, pretty reasonable Magic the Gathering cards. You have Search for Azcanta. This is such a good addition to these blue-white archetypes. Just, like, it works so hard to both help you hit your land drops, which are critical in a deck like this, but also help you kind of sort your wrong half problem, where it gets to filter through cards that aren't going to be good for you in the given situation that you're in. Yeah, learning the best sequencing timings on things definitely isn't trivial, especially in a format like Modern where there's such a wide array of cards you need to be playing around. Like, when are you supposed to be doing it on your end step after they've tapped out for whatever they're doing? Are you supposed to be sequencing in their upkeep so they use their mana through an extra turn cycle? Are you supposed to be waiting till their combat or end of turn for various reasons? Like this. I do not want another Search for Azcanta, Sam I am. Ooh, candy! I think I'm actually better off playing a tap land and guaranteeing I get to play Baneslayer next turn, though. What's the correct number of Azcanta? I think 2 is the floor. Honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 is correct. We've been playing 3 in straight blue-white, and I've been pretty happy with that number. This archetype tends to live and die by if it can hit its land drops consistently, and Search is very, very good at helping you hit your land drops. Just like, most of the decks that are interested in Search for Azcanta's effect are decks where if they stumble, they die in Modern. So, like, having this card that's, like, powerful late game that also helps you not stumble and die is just very good. Probably binning anything that's not a Doomblade here. $2.5 gigabytes. To say, it felt like Moto was chugging. interesting. Clique is like a pseudo Doomblade. I think I'm gonna keep that. I'm too old to go with the intention of winning, Matthew. I'm just going to have a good time. I want to play like decks that are pretty competitive, but like the spikiest of spike, I've never been that way, right? Of course, Matthew. When have I ever flown to a tournament? Matthew, I flew around the country to play Kiki Chord. What do you, like, anything other than Kiki Chord is like a step up for flying to the Invitational, right? It's just like, that's the best part about starting there. It's all upside from there on out. Alright, Wallet Sculptor, Doomblade target Phantasmal Image, please. S1N3N, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub there. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month. No Spell Queller. God bless, God bless, God bless. Nice burn player. No, the rotation happens. I believe when it comes back up from downtime. We won't have new cards until Thursday though. Enjoy my Bloodbraid Elf background while we restart Magic Online here really quick, because it is hemorrhaging memory. Matthew, would you believe me if I told you my top pick for Columbus is Abzan tokens? We're gonna need to play some games, but I really want to play some Abzan tokens. Keep on that awesome content. Holy Flap, thank you for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I am actually using wine. I'm streaming from a Linux computer. I'm a member of the Izik Guild, so I use Linux on my computers. It's a requirement. You have to check the Apple and Windows products at the door. Yeah, that is 10 out of 10 my favorite Bloodbraid artwork. Not close. I've not, Chuck. Is this bad? I don't know. I feel like control players keep hands like this all the time, and this is what I'm supposed to do. Keep everything, it's modern. Oh, Matthew, never change. So this is a question I'm probably going to put out to my subs more than anything, because they're the people that pay my bills, so they get impacted by decisions like this. When Artifact goes into open beta next month, I'm going to do some streaming of it. And I'm wondering, should I only do Artifact in the evenings and keep all my Magic during the day? Or should I split it up and do some Magic during the day, some Artifact during the day, and some Magic at night and some Artifact at night? I'm still going to do 30 hours of Magic a week. I'm not going to get rid of Magic content to do artifact content, but I might mix and match a little bit. See you later. Thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, I'll probably straw poll email through Twitch. That's not a bad idea too. Split and then see how the view count looks. This is really unfortunate for us. Lightning Bolt, Helix. This card's just like gonna run away with the game here on us. Yeah, and all of it'll be on YouTube as always. Everything will end up there. Honestly, it's probably better having streamed other new games before. Artifact might be different because it looks like it's going to be big with Valve. I might be better off like doing Magic into Artifact, like do Magic in the morning into Artifact in the afternoon. You just have Stone Nothing. Or do they like mulligan to 4? They literally mulligan to 4. All right, I missed that part. Yeah, that's true too. I also know that there's people that very graciously sub and mostly watch YouTube stuff, so doing some evenings is probably good for them. I really love the triple wizard mid-range deck Vix. I thought the elf deck was Jund. I'm pretty sure the triple wizard destruction deck is Jund. I've been enjoying it. That's become my go-to. I like a lot of the decks in that game, but that one's become my favorite. So do I think I'm just gonna let this happen. Yeah, please do, Bear Senior. Terminus. Terminus. Do. At least we get to kill the stork. Do I? All right, so this is kind of an interesting crossroads of sorts. Do I lightning bolt the Pyromancer here, or do I just like play the planes and then like pass, like knowing that I need to hit Terminus for anything to happen? It actually looks like Magic. We forced Magic Online to take an early nap. It's decided to take an actual nap now. Oh, Moto. Killing Pyro does potentially get me more draw steps. That's true, but like they're gonna have a lot of pressure in play regardless, because next turn they're getting to flashback Lingering Souls, right? Like, they get to flashback Lingering Souls next to regardless. So they're still going to have 5 power in play, even if I kill the Pyromancer. Moto's adjusting its sleep. That's right. Moto's not used to being awake at this time of day. It's like, Jeff, I'm supposed to be off, Jeff. I'm supposed to be off, Jeff. Yeah, I could just, like, Cryptic Fog here. I could just like Cryptic Fog here. I guess they're on so few cards. I do this. If I do this, I can then Logic Knot the back half of Souls. And then they only have 3 power and I'm at 19. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. This is the conservative line. Like, they're so far down on cards that, like, picking them apart this way just makes sense, I think. Like, even like a Lightning Helix at this point is, like, pretty reasonable, or a Bolt. Go to 5 because you're a monster. And nobody wants to see monster no more. They want Teferi. I'm chopped liver. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's a catastrophe. The new Moto Please emote is so much better than my old poopy one. The whole set of new emotes turned out really well. Super happy with those. We're not locked up this time. Their counter's counting down. Multiple screens are great. So I've been streaming Warhammer from my upstairs computer on Wednesday nights while Christy plays D&D downstairs. And the computer upstairs only has 2 monitors. I just like really don't know what to do with myself. It's like there is so little screen space. Wait, did they just shock me? Sure. That is super aggressive. It actually isn't a DQ spoon. It is a children's plastic spoon. It's for small children. No, I'm on 3. I've got one 27-inch as my main, and I've got 2 matching 21s on either side. So Teferi dies to a bolt here either way. I think I just let this happen. No, I just think Bitter Blossom is kind of slow and clunky in Modern. I think there's enough blue-white control that, like, playing 1 is fine, but I think in general it's pretty slow and clunky. I think I just let this resolve. I think we're just, like, digging for Termini at this point. Did we ever play a Jeskai Tempo deck? Yeah, we played Jeskai Tempo with those cards in it before. And I think we just like bank on hitting Terminus here at some point. I'm just gonna like tap draw when they enter combat here. Just like leave the Pyromancer around. Like I even get to snap Cryptic, tap draw next turn. I get to opt next turn. Just so much candy I can barely contain it. I have no idea what it's named offhand. There's so many different things I could have named that. I honestly don't remember. I'm sorry. It's a miracle! Do 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 do. Bye, friends. Do 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 do. Yeah, we definitely played a build that had favorable wins. I wonder if they're having issues too. They've got a couple of pauses here. Was there a reason not to opt EOT? So the reason there, and it's actually a really good question. So the reason to not opt at their end of turn is because opt is very valuable in this deck, especially if you're not looking for something specific, because opt is an additional way for us to be able to cast opt or Terminus on their turn. So holding the opt gives me more opportunities to cast Terminus on their turn. Hi, Declan Scott. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah. You say hi to the internet? Hi. Hi. You think this is a concession inquisition? What do you think? You think this is a concession inquisition? Say yes. No, say it loud. I whispered say yes to him, and then he whispered yes. These are my cards. My cards are great.
Why got new cards? Why does Bro new?
There's a lot of cards in our hand.
Is Bro new?
So I'm going to go ahead and flash in Snapcaster Mage in response to this Thoughtseize here, because I want to just get like a clock on the table and start beating them down, and they're likely to take this other Snapcaster Mage out.
Mom, let me see cards.
Mommy doesn't let you see cards. Target Lightning Bolt here, I think. Just like send that upstairs. I guess I could also like target Cryptic Command here and like unsummon, draw a card my Snapcaster Mage at their end of turn. I'm so full of barbecue. I'm never all you can eating again unless my fiance again until my fiance's birthday on Thursday.
Daddy?
Yes. What's up?
Dad.
You want this? You want that?
I want to sit at the table.
You go ahead and sit at the table.
I want to sit at the table. Take this with you better. Why does Kitty broken?
So we'll send this bolt upstairs here. Once upon a time I had hair. I had long, luscious hair. Like down to my shoulders long. And then I had children. You hear the things you do to me, Declan? It's basically your fault. Pinning this one squarely on your tiny shoulders. My hair was not as curly as theirs.
Mine's gray.
Your hair is curly, you're right.
And I got cut all my hair with your hair.
You want to cut your hair like my hair? You'll get here eventually. Give it a couple decades.
Why your hair's little?
Why is my hair little, chat? Does anybody know? Does anybody know why my hair is little?
I don't know, your hair's little.
I don't know either. It's very sad. It's very sad indeed. You had hair and then Legacy Leagues happened.
I'm going to get all my hair out here. I can pull it out.
My child didn't make my hair fall out, but it sure did make it go gray quickly.
I got to cut your hair.
So this is definitely an Engineered Explosives matchup. This is probably a Baneslayer matchup and an Elspeth Sun's Champion matchup. Celestial Purge seems okay here as well. But I actually want to trim. Most of our cards seem pretty decent. It's just like Logic not out. I think it's just Logic not out. Look at that. He's ventured back upstairs of his own volition. Thought I was going to have to eject him. I'm going to trim these, I think. Most of the rest of our cards seem pretty good here. Peace, Maddie. I guess Bolt's kind of mediocre here. Like, I want to kill Pyromancer, but like, I've got a lot of ways to do that. Celestial Purge and Path double up on killing Bedlam Reveler's Ball, which is nice. So, Jeskai, traditionally speaking, leans into Snapcaster Mage a little bit more. As you'll see, we're playing the full 4 copies of it. So you really can't afford to be playing cards like Rest in Peace because they take a bigger impact out of us, basically, than they do traditional blue-white. Yeah, I think I'm okay keeping that EE on top here. Also, like, this is modern. There's, like, unless you know your local game store has a lot of something in general, there's not really a lot of anything. It's, like, not how the format works. I'm actually going to go ahead and play this Glacial Fortress tapped here. And the reason for this is if our next card is Terminus, we're going to want to be able to Miracle it if our opponent plays a Pyromancer here. It was really bad, Jesse. Almost certain. I didn't. It was bad enough that I'm not even uploading it to YouTube. If you're a sub, you can check the past VODs. But it was bad, to say the least. I think Modern should have more sideboards. I don't know about... I think should is a little bit strong. But I think potentially having more sideboard slots is an interesting proposition. What's going on, Alex? Congrats on your win this weekend. So, I think in this matchup, we're the control deck, Samian. And because we're the more controlling deck in this matchup, the health gain that we get from Helix is very meaningful. Where do you find the VODs? On my Twitch page, there's a video button towards the top. That should get you into the VOD section. So I'm actually just going to hang tight on this Opt here. Because again, I kind of want to wait until they flash this back before I do anything here, I think. You can read about my thoughts on Mission Briefing and lots of other cards of the new set as they pertain to Modern in my articles on Cool Stuff Inc. for the last 2 weeks. I don't think Search is too slow at all. Well, I think we assume a more controlling role in this matchup, like they're the beatdown. This is definitely a game that can grind, have a tendency to grind. The opponent's got Culligan's Commands and Bedlam Revelers, lots of different things that generate card advantage on their side of the table. The leagues we played this morning in Legacy Nomcarver. That's unfortunate. We need to find a Terminus ASAP. Ow. Ow. I believe in miracles. Do-do. Beep-a-doo, beep-a-doo. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Bye, friends. Do-do. Beep-a-doo, beep-a-doo. Affinity got bumped by Jeskai Terminus, and I think this is going to be my last league for the night. I have to wake up and stream in the morning again with my normal schedule, so I don't want to go too late. I want to make sure I actually get some sleep tonight. That was another part of the reason why this morning was rough. Just like up till 1 o'clock last night and up to 1 o'clock on Saturday. Yeah, Jace is great. I get punished if they have Dreadbore by plussing here, but I think in general I definitely should plus to play around Lightning Bolt or Lightning Helix out of their deck. So we don't really have an option to play around Dreadbore, but I think we can play around. We can play around Lightning Bolt, so I'm going to here. This Jace survives. It should bury them very quickly. Who's looking forward to nailing Jace's posterior to the wall in trophy position? I'm looking forward to nailing Jace's posterior to the wall. That's simply dreadful, opponent. Simply dreadful. Not flashing back Lingering Souls there is interesting. I wonder if they're going to sit on that until they can find like a Culligan's Command for this explosives. Maybe it was wrong to play them out proactively like this. A lot of these decks actually do run basic planes. They don't all do, but it is a thing that the opponent's archetype has started doing. Like the Mardu Pyromancer list on my website, for instance, has a basic planes. I'm nowhere near the first person to do that. To use my no button. If Fatal Push in their deck still is something worth noting. It's an interesting decision. I guess they really don't want to die to Celestial Colonnade. Wonder if I wonder if they have Bloodmoon in their deck or not then. Not a constructive and useful comment. Wah, this format's bad. Wah, I'm here watching it anyways when I could be doing anything else with my time. Wah, I'm a Magic player and I want something to complain about. Wah. God, life must be tough. Life must be tough. Let me complain about this thing that I'm doing voluntarily. It's so terrible that I'm sitting here watching it. Oh, Magic players. Oh, Magic players. Did Declan come back? No, I timed them out. Let's find out if they have a basic planes or not. They might. You said a lot of these decks do these days. They do, yeah. Oh, you know what? We saw basic planes in game 1. We definitely saw basic planes in game 1. Ruh-roh, Raggy. I do not support your right to point out that I have a right to do whatever I want. Yep. Like, there's nothing wrong with disliking Modern. Like, the most competitively diverse format in the history of TCGs ever isn't for everybody, and that's okay. Like, format preference is super subjective. What you don't, however, get to do around here specifically is, like, show up in my channel and complain about it. A channel that you have no requirement to watch. The channel emotes are one of the bonuses for subscribers on Twitch, Justin. So to use the Hoogle emote, you have to be subscribed to the channel. And if you subscribe to the channel, you can use them anywhere on Twitch. I do love Price of Progress in Modern. I never want to play against Modern Burn with Price of Progress. That sounds super miserable. I think I'm just gonna let them keep hitting Teferi here. Subs are welcome to complain. You give me money. You give me money, you're welcome to complain. How do we feel about counter this, bounce the Goblin token? I think I'd rather bounce the Snapcaster Mage, huh? So this is a viewer submitted build, Adrian. I like a lot of the little details here. I do really like the very minimal red splash. Like I said, I think the one thing I would change about the main deck certainly is I think not having a 25th land is some nonsense. Maybe a third search too. I'm kind of high on search for Azcanta. That card's pretty great. Pert and Tangent, thank you for the 9-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Untap these dorkos. I mean, you're welcome to criticize Modern, like have a reasonable discussion. I'm critical of Modern and Legacy and Standard all the time, but just like there's a difference between being critical and just complaining, and a lot of people don't understand that difference. Like, being critical means being constructive and offering specifics, whereas just complaining is just like saying like what that last person did, saying Modern's a crap show or whatever they said before I timed them out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's bedtime upstairs, chat. Every format in Magic has different pluses and minuses to it. That's just how it goes. There are things, if you enjoy playing prison decks and brainstorming, Legacy's better than any other format in Magic. If you enjoy playing mid-range games that tend to last into, you know, turn 6, 7, 8, even double digits, that's probably Standard is what you're looking for. Asterisk when Standard is good. And if you're looking for a huge plethora of variety, it's definitely Modern. Like, you can, like, basically every archetype is reasonable in this format. It's just, God, this is so clean for us. It's just, like, purge this idiot, and then, like, let this resolve, crack the engineered explosives. What's the line on how many cards Teferi draws before it's just like the point of no return? I feel like it's like 3. Like once Teferi's picked up 3 cards, you're just like, are we done here? What are we really doing with ourselves? Can we have some self-reflection here for a moment? That's actually not a bad way to think about it, Hall Monitor. I don't actually think it's a bit more diverse, Scooby. I'd ask you to show your work on that. As someone who played a lot of Modern then and a lot of Modern now, they feel very similar. Yeah, Namcarver. Casual Legacy is really sweet. I always love when you read on forums like Reddit and other places that like look at SCG events, people are like, it's just in the Americas where people play all these Delver and Tempo decks. And I always want to be response. You mean where they play the good decks? You mean in the places where you play, people play terrible decks, so there aren't a bunch of blue decks present that are beating up on everything? Just like, yeah, at the tournament that paid out a bunch of dollar bills, people showed up with decks that were geared to win. So yeah, they showed up with the good ones. It isn't an SCG thing. It's these people decided to show up to the tournament and try and win thing. Oh, I have to untap their lands because Magic. It was not a good scene, Amity. It was not a good scene. Death and Taxes. Well, and Death and Taxes in my mind, like I said, brainstorm and prison decks. Death and Taxes is like a pseudo prison deck, right? Like it's a deck that is functional based on its ability to prey on. You got me. How will I ever beat that card? Alright, I guess I'll Celestial Purge this, if only so I can cast Big Mama. You're lucky I drew Big Mom, otherwise I was gonna leave that one alone. Just actual prison? You would classify as actual prison? Yeah, I guess that's probably pretty fair. Teferi and his gal are going out dancing tonight. It's your grave that they're gonna dance upon. Goblin Babble Master. And I think I definitely just path this here because Lingering Souls is one of their better draws remaining at this point. Electrolyze is good against Lingering Souls. Games like this, people always ask me why. I don't think this archetype is unplayable, but I think it leaves a little bit to be desired in some places, but games like this are the reason why you play this archetype, right? Like, when you win with a deck like this, gosh, do you spend so much of the game actually winning. Like, when you lose with control decks, it's a short, brutal loss, and when you win, you spend most of the game winning. Just like, don't mind me, just drawing my cards, making my tokens. All right, well, 2040 here. This main deck spell selection is pretty on point. I don't know, I want a 25th land, and I kind of want a third search, but maybe with 4 Snapcasters, you just don't have room for another search. I think I'd probably take either the 3rd Logic or the 2nd Electrolyze and slide it into a 2nd Field of Ruin. It's probably pretty reasonable. Or a 4th Colonnade. Yeah, Twin was before Eldrazi. Twin and Eldrazi never existed together in Modern. They banned Splinter Twin while printing us into Eldrazi Winter. Yeah, I feel much like Search for Azcanta and Teferi, Field of Ruin is just like one of these cards that just like got introduced to this and just like doesn't do anything fancy, but it's just like such a subtle power upgrade to existing tools like Ghost Quarter and Tech Edge. Okay, sweet. I'm excited to see how this matchup plays out. I have to imagine that this is another matchup where having more spot removal is also really good for us. That being said, traditional straight blue-white is pretty good against this deck as is, so I don't know that we really need to get much better. I heard Life EV, so I could see it in 1 games 2 and 3. So, it's funny you mentioned that. So back when, was anybody else playing? I'm sure there were a few people in chat that were playing standard, they were playing standard when Sphinx's Rev, like last time Rev was around, right? With like Sphinx's Revelations. And I remember playing pseudo-aggressive decks in those matchups, and I would always make it a point where even if I knew I was dead, I wouldn't concede game 1 until the clock was at like 25 minutes or so. Because I could win 2 games in 25 minutes, but they couldn't. And now I'm not saying I wasn't stalling, I wasn't intentionally playing slowly, they just weren't actually killing me, so I wasn't incentivized to concede because I wasn't actually dead. Like, those decks just, like, didn't actually do anything. Oh, I might have punted here. Maybe I should have helixed this in response to this trigger. That's probably what I should have done. Hey, they had an Elixir of Immortality, and they had, God, what was the other card? They had Mutavault. They had Mutavault and Elixir of Immortality. No, a lot of them didn't play Aetherling. Aetherling was not a card that a lot of those decks played. So this is a question you kind of have to ask yourself at various points as a control mage. How greedy am I? So I think I just take a hit this turn, especially with these helixes in my hand. And I think I'm going to try and opt for Terminus again here. Yeah, I'm going to opt for Terminus again here. Huh. Do I Logic Knot this? I think I'm supposed to Logic Knot this, huh? Their board's not too bad. Like I've got a lot of stuff in my hand. Like even if we don't find a Terminus here, we're still like in a pretty okay spot. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and bolt here and then path here. The reason why I'm bolting now is because when they put counters on something, I don't want them to be able to do this. This is smart on their part. Good sequencing here. Yeah, Twitch is always live. All my archives are on YouTube. Oh, I guess this is a 4/4 now. I forgot this was gonna modular 2 counters. That's worse for me. It's a lot worse for me because I can't Helix this now. Huh. Maybe I should just, like, hope to Terminus. Still at 9, though. His card is so good against us. That is a good one. Well. No, I don't think so. I think having the Opta Terminus is more important. Got a couple of Stonies. Probably isn't a Rune Talo match, right? Baneslayer is almost certainly too small. Logic Knot's too clunky. This is probably just too much mana. It's like okay when it's good, but it's a lot of mana. I like that Cryptic as Fog that buys us more time to find Terminus. Electrolyze is, like, good against their mediocre draws, but, like, most of our deck is good against their mediocre draws. They stuck an Evolutionary Leap. It was just going to bury us, so I decided to move on to the next game. Like, we weren't going to be dead for a few turns, but we definitely weren't beating the Evolutionary Leap from the position we were in. That is right where we wanted that. Yes, sir. Yep. At least I have this explosives, I guess. Tier 2 subs do not get to add a new deck to the queue. They get to bump a deck that's already in the queue up a little bit more. Caldikim, thank you very much for the brand new tier, or the Caldikim, thank you for re-upping for the second month in a row. I appreciate that. Call Tamkin. Welcome back. This turn's probably getting Sacred Foundry, so we have a bunch of white spells in our hand, obviously. Yeah, but there's also real issue, Chicken, with games where you don't draw your Termini at opportune times, and then you're just like dead to rights because you didn't find your Termini. So like it kind of cuts both ways, really. We've played the 5-color aggro deck in Modern before. You can find it on my YouTube channel. I don't remember how that went last time we played it. We played it a couple of times. It's kind of a fan favorite that people love to see. It's definitely one that gets resubmitted with some consistency. Yep. Ugh. I guess I'll Helix this in response. Oh, I don't have a green mana at the moment. Yeah, Hangerback has a 0 convert mana cost on the battlefield. That is correct. I mean, that that might actually not be good enough here. His Evolutionary Leap's gonna kind of get us. I have a Wear Tear left in my deck that can take this out. There's a deck list on your screen. If you're on mobile, you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. Alright. Got a Walking Ballista. Kill their things while they don't have green mana. We need a Jace or a Teferi at this point. So way to start leveraging card advantage while they're slowed down by this Stony Silence so we can play through this Evolutionary Leap nicely. Alright, wish granted. I've seen in smaller events iterations of the blue-red tempo deck with a splash for white cards. I've seen it post in some smaller events, but it's not something I've tried personally. I don't know, I'm a big fan of having really consistent painless mana, and once you get into a third color, especially in an aggressive deck that wants most of its lands to come into play untapped, that becomes less of a thing that you're likely to have. Weird that they didn't sacrifice it. Why don't they just like clicked through it? Sure. Arcbound Worker, yep. So let's untap land this turn and slam this Teferi. Gosh, we're gonna lose with Stony Silence in play, aren't we? Certainly feeling like it. Feels bad, man. And pathing these doesn't... Pathing one of these actually adds more power to the table. So, like, I don't really want to do that. I think just, like, hang tight until we hit another Termini here. Just like that. I could use Snap as a rampant growth here, that's true. The problem is that, like, this is why the evolutionary leap is so good. Like, I'm getting a 2-for-1, but it's actually a 2-for-0, right? Because, like, my opponent's putting 2 more creatures into play here. No, I'd ask that you wait until the freeze is thawed to submit decks. Best estimate, probably after Columbus, so like first week of October. I think we're just dead. This evolutionary leap, just like this game, letting this game play out was just like a great example of why I conceded to it in the first game. It's fine, we're decking them. Much longer am I going to be on? Not much longer. Probably another half hour, 45 minutes or so. We got 2 more matches after this. Yeah, yes, they are definitely better against Stony Silence than traditional Affinity. It's another one of the many points in their favor. I think I'm just supposed to jam this. And again, the big issue is that, like, and this is Control Deck's typical problem in Modern, is that they've deployed this threat that I don't have an answer to, basically, and I don't have a way to actually end the game. So even though I have one of my better cards here in Stony Silence, I don't actually have a way to kill them before this evolutionary leap takes over the game. Yep. Minusing Teferi. Yeah, I guess minusing Teferi could have been okay there. Definitely didn't consider that. I don't know, like, they still have all these Thopters in play. I'm just gonna move along. We're not 0% to win this game, but we're pretty close. Thunder Ving, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support there. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, brand new tier 1 sub. It is late. I shouldn't stream after 8 o'clock. Yeah, the Hardened Scales deck has consistently been the most impressive deck that we've played on stream before. Just again, please remember, if you're going to tell me that I made a mistake, you need to be constructive and specific about why it's a mistake. You need to contribute. You need to not just pile on in chat and tell me that I'm an idiot and I'm wrong. That seems fine. Probably go Sacred Foundry tapped on 1, Basic Island on 2. Binging on your content between classes. Glad to see you live. Well, good evening. Catch us right at the tail end here. We're going to be playing this match and then one more. Snow-covered plains, Aether Vial. There's a big giant button that says decks underneath the stream information section. That'll take you to my website, jeffhoagland.com/decklist, where you can always find my latest there. This did get bumped up by Justin, believe it or not, Bionic. I don't even know if it's that secret, Johnny. The deck's really good. It has a Grand Prix top 8 for a reason. When did I get back online? Anna, we've been up for a little while. We've been live for 3.5 hours. I tweeted and I tagged people on Discord. You are not safe, Marty. Nah, pretty sure I want a Glacial Fortress here. We'll play the Field of Renown, so that way I can, if they fetch a non-basic here, I can use this to go get an island. Ah, the classic turn 3 Noble Hierarch. Exactly when you want it. Unfortunately not, Inner. I'm pretty beat. I want to make sure I get to bed at a good time tonight. You made a donation for this deck, but it looks a bit different. Did I make changes? Nope. I copy and pasted the deck list that I was given out of my thing. Unless you're talking about a regular non-Terminus Jeskai deck, because we did play one of those recently too. I honestly don't log who sends in what. I just copy and paste things from donations that get made. That's true. It is there's a long list. Is there another Jeskai deck in here? I think this is the last Jeskai control deck in the queue. At a glance, that appears to be the case at least. No, I'm in for Teferi. Maybe I made some changes then? I don't remember. It's been a long day. Sometimes if there's things that I think are really glaring, I swap them out. That's not where I want you, Terminus. Looks like we're playing against Bant Spirits. This is game 1 and they haven't really done anything though. I assume this is just like a spell queller. Yeah, nice spell queller. Here's my 5-mana spell. No, Meme Monday went really poorly this morning, so I decided I wanted to play some reasonable decks tonight. I believe in miracles. Do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Invite my Pandora station there. Bye, friends. We have 4 cards left. My hand is like pretty good. I've got this Teferi on the table. I honestly just think Terminus. No, the issue this morning wasn't about. The issue wasn't the modern decks. The issue this morning was the legacy decks that we were playing. That was the issue. We've been doing this a while, Johnny. No, your deck probably would have been fine if I'd have not had like my crap constantly pushed in playing legacy before it. Huh. This is a good conservative attack here. Just everything at Teferi's face. Bye, friends. Suppose we could have gotten Mausoleum Wanderer there and then potentially died, but... yeah, we'll Boomerang that and draw a card. Fair. Fair. Could you also imagine, like, how dead we would be to this Moreland Haunt if these Terminus had been Supreme Verdicts? It's kind of unreal how dead we'd be. Alright, Jace, please sculpt their minds. It's not the Terminus I wanted for Christmas, chat. Terminus is also good against Selfless Spirit. You are not wrong. So I'm going to upkeep Opt here, I think. And if we miss, I'll probably go Path Bolt. Pretty good chance we miss, right? Like 2 in 37 to hit. Why would I miss? That seems like a terrible idea. Magic's great, chat. This game's easy. Is a game, is a life. Can we just like take a moment and discuss how incredibly wrong every person registering Celestial Colonnade who isn't also registering for Terminus is? Can we just like take a moment and talk about that? No, I wanted to leave path up. I think leaving path up is correct. Yeah, right? You should have all after your Celestial Colonnades, the next cards that should be in your deck list are four opt for Terminus. I don't want to hear any of your excuses about why you could possibly want to play less than 4 of either of those cards. Yeah, Azcanta clears Jace as well, which is just hot fire. Yeah, exactly, Jonah. So that's a great way to think about it. Successful decks in Modern tend to have a very unfair part to them, and Terminus fills that role in this archetype. What about Jace? I think in order to make Terminus as good as it can be, playing some number of Jace is a necessity. I think if you don't want Jace, you should just play a different arc. If you don't have Jace, you just play a different deck. Sure, I think you could play both. But I think you should definitely have 4 ops in your deck before you put Serum Visions in your deck. I don't know. I just know there's people that, like, don't have 4 of some of these cards in their deck, and every time we play, I'm just like, why are there people that don't play 4 of these cards? Sure, Amethy, but like, splash some red cards. Actually, I agree with Frenzy Bait there. Hieroglyphic Illuminations has been quite excellent too when we've played it. Usually I have something to send with these monthly notifications. Dakio, thank you for the 6 months there. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. We need to play some Overwatch sometime soon. It's been a little while. Not tonight, though. I'm tired tonight. I'm going to bed shortly after the stream is done. Do I just, like, start doing this? I think if this is a Snap Bolt turn here. I just have so many cards in my hand. I need to, like, actually kill them, right? Telling Time seems really bad. So, like, Telling Time theoretically helps you set up a Terminus, but it doesn't actually give you shots to hit Terminus on your opponent's turn. It doesn't let you Jace Storm the Terminus to the top and then Miracle it on their turn. And I think what you want your extra card to be doing is exactly that. Are they about to image Snapcaster Collected Company? They are about to image Snapcaster Collected Company. That's really funny. Where do we find me when I'm playing Overwatch? When we stream Overwatch, we do it on Christie's channel here. And if you are interested in playing with us sometime, if you pop into the subs Discord, we usually play with people from the subs Discord. Just playing with randoms kind of sucks. Should I be pressuring the J? Do you have any idea how many Magic cards you have to not draw to ultimate your Jace the Mind Sculptor? It's so many Magic cards. It's so many, chat. You have to not draw so many cards. Why would I want to not draw cards? I don't understand. I don't understand. But rank, we don't play ranked, we just play casual. Quick play. I play Overwatch the same way I play Magic, for fun. I think there's a Logic not on top of my deck. Nope, definitely a Path to Exile, apparently. Might have stacked that a little wrong. We'll survive. No, I never really played Go. I played a bunch of Source when I was a small child, but... Gosh, they found Collected Company. I stacked my brainstorm wrong. I should have a logic. Now, not that it really matters, because my hand is, like, literally 6 Doomblades here, but, like... You know... Just, like, not even gonna activate this search for Azcanta, because it just, like, doesn't matter. Yeah, this is late for me. I ended early this morning, engineer, so I decided to fire up a little bit later tonight. Usually I look for a $50 donation for a me build the deck thing. I'm out of basics, that's sad. Ooh. Ooh! I found a piece of Teferi shaped candy, chat. I mean Teferi candy. I guess I'm gonna start Fate Sealing now, because there's a real chance I deck out if I don't Fate Seal. No, I don't really play in. I don't play sealed. Do not enjoy sealed. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not the Blues Brothers over here. It's that one. That's the reason we have to stop playing Magic. Got it? You totally had a chance up until that path to exile. Because I'm clicking and not paying attention, Equinox. You're right, that sequencing is bad. I need to give Justin a rule that I don't register Hallowed Fountain after 5 o'clock. Or on less than 5 hours of sleep. Your Declan clock was about 5:30 this morning. I went to bed, yeah, about 5 hours of sleep. Fatso! Thank you for the 16-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Not a big fan of these Runed Halos in the sideboard. I feel like that's a card that I'm pretty interested in not being in the deck. I feel like this is a type of card that you're interested for, like, Bogles and, like, Valakut. And Alpine Moon is definitely, like, much better against Valakut at this point. And it also would let you double up as being good against Tron, which would be convenient. I kind of feel like Elspeth Sun's Champion is overkill in decks like this. Like, Jace and Teferi just go so far over the top of a lot of things. Like, I don't need that extra Planeswalker. Halo cannot name tokens. That's the name of a Magic card. Have a good night, Adrian. Elspeth's a Mirror Breaker. I guess I could buy that for $1. Honey is no longer a sponsor on the stream, so my link is no longer valid. Their contract ran out. What's my day job? This is my day job right here. In fact, normally I stream during the day. I'm live generally 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 5 days a week. And plus a little other randoms here and there like this one. Been doing this full time since March. March sounds right. March, February, somewhere in there. I got married this weekend, so my now husband and I are spending the next couple of days catching up on all the decks we missed during that madness that is getting married. There's a lot going on when that happens. Congratulations, by the way. Parties are fun. That's weddings. Good weddings are just like big parties, right? So Drogskull Captain here. If they have Phantasmal Image, we're actually in a lot of trouble here because I don't have that many Doomblades. I'm also like kind of in trouble if they have a Rattle Chains. A Hogland Honeymoon. They don't have a thing here. We're in a pretty good spot. They have like a Spell Pierce or a Dispel. I guess Dispel's not out of the question, huh? Sweet. What did I do before becoming a full-time streamer? I was a full-time dad. Took care of the kids. I have a master's degree in mathematics, and I've worked as a system analyst for large companies. I've spent some time adjuncting in various size colleges and universities. Done a lot of a little of a lot. This is a Spell Queller. Worth noting they left this on 2, so they must have some kind of 2 in their hand that they're interested in keeping up here. I wonder if they have a second Spell Queller here, and that's why they're so willing to play the first one out. They do not. That's good for us. Down to 2 cards here. This is probably going to be a click my own click out of my hand, just like try and find more removal. That's unfortunate. Well, now we're going to click the Terminus out of my hand. My wife is a business analyst for a major insurance company. Yeah, being a stay-at-home dad was a lot of fun. I'd always intended to, like, work again full-time, like, when the kids started kindergarten, but then the stream started picking up at the end of last year, and it just seemed like a mistake not to try and capitalize on it while the iron was hot. I'm really glad we did. It's been a lot of fun, too. And it's been good for the kids, too. Declan really likes daycare. They have, like, the daycare they go to is basically, like, a private preschool. They do actual, like, education and class stuff there, and he really loves it. Real people? That's... Real people are scary! Das Coco. What's the difference between a business analyst and a systems analyst? Generally the amount of automation and software stuff you do. So like when I worked as a system analyst, basically I did process automation. I took people showed me how they did their job, and then I informed them how we were going to make their job way more efficient by making the computer do their job for them. It's like, what if instead of having you do all of these things, Excel did it for you, or Perl or Python did it for you? My favorite platform for experiencing people is Windows. People watching is fun. Was it a contract? Yeah. So when my wife and I actually worked for the same company, but she was a, what they refer to as an internal employee. She actually worked for the company proper, whereas I was a third-party contracted employee. So it made, when her maternity leave was up, it just made sense for her to keep her job because it was more consistency. Contract work is not always. Ooh, maybe I should have done this in response. Never mind. So I didn't opt in response to this because I wanted to be able to Terminus the whole board. But I didn't consider Lightning Bolt, but this is much better. Just much. Can we just, I know this is like the third or fourth time we've said this today, but can we just take a moment and appreciate how wrong everybody that doesn't have 4 ops and 4 Terminus in their decks is? Can we I need to just, if there's one thing that you take away from my sloppy play on this stream today, is that you better put 4 copies of Opt and Terminus in your Celestial Colonnade decks, chat. Put 4 in your deck. Please, for the love of God, you can thank me later. Put 4 of them in your deck. Never not lucky, right? Look, we put 4 of them in my deck so I could draw them consistently. If you don't get deck checked, 5 is fine, Jackal Girl. Or if your name is Alex, you know, just work with it. I would recommend getting Jace's. That would be, my recommendation wouldn't be don't play Terminus, it would be acquire Jace's. You're right. In fact, just so I don't forget, because it's been so long, for those of you that haven't been here, late night chills are great. And you know what else is great? These people. These people are great. You should buy their stuff. These people, also great. Consider buying their stuff. All right, back to the magic. All right. Look, my sponsors pay for daytime shilling. Evening shills are a little bit more laid back. Okay? I want to buy Justin's. I don't know what Justin's selling, but we should probably all be cautious about it. You know what the sad part is? That short shill that I just did there, that's arguably better than a lot of the shills I see other Twitch streamers do for their sponsors. Like, a lot of people don't even acknowledge that they have banners scrolling most of the time. It's just like this thing on their screen that they're like oblivious to. It was efficient, right? We plugged them all real quick. Believe it or not, by the grace of Terminus, we are currently 2-1 in this league. It looks like we're about to move to 3-0 though. Why am I helixing now? Why not? It doesn't even matter anymore. Is this a concession lockup? Feels like a concession lockup. So I punted a little bit to Hardened scales. But other than that, we've won every time. We've actually beaten Spirits twice, which everybody says is a hard matchup for these blue-white decks. So I wonder if there's something to these red cards. Amethy, it's like ripping off a band-aid. It hurts at first, but you're better off having moved on for it. So I think I'm gonna do a full wrap-up segment at the end here. I think my comments on this main deck are I would turn these Electrolyzes into a second Field of Ruin and a Detention Sphere. And I would probably turn one of these Logic Knots into a Negate. And then I'm going to do a few things to the sideboard. I'll pull those out after. Honestly, I'll probably just make this sideboard match my other sideboard. We got lucky. I drew half my deck. I saw 2 copies of Terminus after I drew half my deck. How is that getting lucky? I put the cards in my deck so I could draw them. All right, so I'm leading on Scalding Tarn here for 2 reasons. The first is that my opponent could play a second Ancient Tomb next turn and cast Thought-Knot Seer, and if they do that, I want a Path in response. The second reason is that Eldrazi Temple is contained in a lot of decks that also contain Leonin Arbiter, and if they play Leonin Arbiter here on 2, I want to crack this in response. Chalice of the Void for 1, that's kind of a beating. 4 Terminus is the correct number. Play 4. I look forward to a point in the future where we look back on the people that didn't have 4 Terminus 4 opt in their Celestial Colonnade decks and we go, gosh, those people were so silly. Why would they do that? Man, are we dead? I think we're dead. This Chalice is a huge beating. Free Eye of Ugin. I guess this is kind of a tough tank, right? Like all of these cards we have here are like pretty reasonable. Like the Teferi's like the scariest, but he also like doesn't happen for a hot second. If we run off some lands here, it's probably going to be like an end of turn, bounce Chalice of the Void, untap like Path the Thought-Knot Seer. Sweet. So we have to take a hit this turn. Come on. Come on. Come and get it. Remember when I said they played this card? I was not lying. Where are my Termini? Where are my Termini? I believe in miracles, chat. They do in fact play Gemstone Caverns. Unfortunately, I have to take 6 here. Outside of Reality Smasher, their deck likely doesn't have any traditional reach, which is nice for us at least. No, I want to use this Cryptic Command to bounce the Chalice of the Void at end of turn, so I can untap and path snap path. I mean, locking our Path to Exiles out here is kind of a big deal. The rest of my hand doesn't accomplish a lot. And when I like tap out for this Cryptic Command here, so I'm not going to get to Cryptic them now. That really sucks. And they have like another TKS here. They definitely want to resolve something, right? Like they're ghost quartering me to force me off this Cryptic Command, basically. Yeah, but the problem is the Chalice Anner. Alright, well now we're all in on Terminus or die. The problem with this is I can't Cryptic into it either now, which sucks. Yeah, I get to fog here, but like I have to have Terminus next draw, or 2 draws from now, not the next draw. And I guess Snapcaster Mage like blocks for a turn here. That is that's actually a great draw, right? And not quite a miracle, but close. I think I Helix Thalia here because that allows me to snap Cryptic next turn. So I do this, I go to 9. I take 6, I go to 3. I pay for Arbiter, I fetch, I go to 2. That's a beating. That's the downside to Helixing Thalia. They get to do this. I mean, that being said, like, I'm going to 2 here, which means Snap Helix puts me to 5 next turn. So I can snap, block Leonin Arbiter, Helix Thalia, go to 1. And all that assumes that I don't draw Terminus in the middle. Like, there's 4 Termini and 42 cards here in a hot second. We can't opt, we can't path. This game would be much easier if I could cast my 1-mana spells. One could argue it would be unlosable if I had access to my spells. And actually, if they don't have another follow-up here, I get to snap, block, Helix this, and then I untap Teferi downtick on here and the board's clean, right? So like assuming they just have a lot of mediocrity going on here, we could actually be okay here. Because there's a Thalia in play. Huh. What if I Snapcaster Helix the Leonin Arbiter and then fetch and double block the Thought-Knot Seer? I think I like that. That makes it so We're about to get dismembered. I think we're getting dismembered. All right, so we're dead. We're dead to second dismember. Which they could reasonably have here, right? Like, they've been sitting with cards in hand and not doing anything with them. They could reasonably just be like more Gemstone Caverns and Dahlias, but they could also just be like a pair of Dismembers. They probably play 4 since they can't play Path to Exile in their Chalice deck. Because they killed my first Snapcaster Mage. We're 10% to hit it there too. Holy shit. I'm just going to time people out for people that don't understand what the board state is rather than sit here and talk about it. It's too late and I'm too tired. There's probably Cavern of Souls in their deck, huh? These Logic Knots are probably pretty bad. I don't think a Braid's really a card we're super interested in. I feel like Detention Sphere or something like that's probably a little bit better. Supported Stony to cut off Chalice. God bless you, Twitch chat. That's the game-winning advice I've come to know and love. Gosh, we've been streaming for over 4 hours and we're only at the end of League 2. That's so brutal. Bolt okay here, but I want to just trim my 1-mana spells against their deck that likely has 4 Chalice of the Voids. No, I haven't, Tony. I basically don't make time to try card games that don't have digital counterparts. I don't even really play Magic in paper anymore, so like if you don't have a digital aspect to your card game, I just like don't have time for you. That's basically what happens. The only reason I've been playing the Warhammer game is because I can play it on my tablet. Like today I played a few games at the gym and while I was eating lunch. Well, I think the Browbeat Jumpstart card is interesting. I think a control deck is not where we want that. Actually, I don't think Ruined Halo is one of the cards that I would definitely cut from the sideboard. But while I have it in my sideboard, I'm definitely interested. It's basically a piece of soft removal that counters like every Thought-Knot Seer and every Reality Smasher. It's also a piece of removal that doesn't get countered by Chalice of the Void on 1. So it's a card that can impact the board basically while getting through their primary piece of disruption. Here's the real question, chat. What do I want to go get to eat after this? I guess it's 9 o'clock, so my selection's a little bit low. And most places are open till 10 these days. Gosh, Portillo sounds good, but it's on like the other side of town. I have to drive like 20 minutes there and back. Taco Bell is close and definitely open. I do like me a quesarito. No, the Portillo's down here doesn't deliver. Right on time, Terminus. Thanks for showing up. Welcome to the party. I'm not salty at all. I'm not salty at all. Rather than asking me to justify my keep to you, please exert some mental energy and explain to me why you think my hand isn't good enough. So, like, one of the better ways to learn, too, is, like, just try and think and engage, right? Like, why, can you say, like, why your gut said this might not be good? Like, and because it's hard for me to explain to you why I think it's reasonable if I don't understand where you're coming from. If that makes sense. Restore Balance or Enduring Ideal. I like Restore Balance better, Anoronics. That deck has a more... The busted thing that deck is doing is, like, more busted than what Enduring it's doing. 2 Terminus in the opener is a strong reason to mulligan, but Dezen of Twitch chat, this hand did not have 2 Terminuses in the opener, so take a 10-minute break. God bless, God bless, God bless. Goodbye, friend. They had Thalia in play, Burn Player. The issue the entire game was Thalia and the Chalice. Listen, I've slept like a total of like 10 hours the last 2 nights. So it's not been great. I'm gonna go to bed. In fact, I might even just microwave something this evening instead of going out and getting something. I'm probably just gonna microwave something simple. I don't like pass out. No, using this does not use the stack. This is a special game action for a special kitty cat. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. What's going on, Confection? Thanks for the 6 months there. I appreciate that. So, this is a matchup where the opponent is kind of attacking our mana, and even if we mulligan to specific cheap cards, there's a chance that those cheap cards don't work. So I kind of like just keeping a hand that has, like, functional mana. Yeah, honestly, we're on track to just, like, 6 mana Wrath them and have them good enough, right? Like, 6 mana Wrath would have been fine last game, right? We just, like, didn't have a Terminus in our top 21 cards. No, Anner, I have to be done after this. Just like, my entire tomorrow is going to be terrible if I don't go to bed like a responsible adult. I think I'm going to do another evening stream on Wednesday, Anner, because I can't stream Magic Wednesday morning because there's like 12 hours of downtime or something stupid. Like, against a super aggressive deck, I think this hand would definitely be a mulligan, but, like, my opponent's deck is, like, a very mediocre deck in terms of, like, aggression, right? They've played a Grizzly Bear in 3 turns. Yeah, it just won't be good content, Frenzied Mage. It just won't be good content. I did not spend enough time with Lisa this weekend. That's the God's honest truth right there. Yeah, it's the last match, Shawnee. We're 3-1 in this league. Ooh. Yeah, the thing in the ice deck is sweet. I agree with that. I should have fielded the Ghost Quarter there. I was gonna path, and then there's this thing here, and mistakes were made. I should have paid 2 and fielded their Ghost Quarter there. It was a mistake not to. Well, I can't Terminus on 6 anymore, unfortunately. Because there is a Thelian play. I don't think non-mods can see the MTG bot reasons for timing people out, but Dan Bopes did an A+ job with them. They're fantastic. They're like different every time. This one says, genius does what it must, talent does what it can, and you best do as you're told. They're quite good. Someday, if you are a Knight of Hoaglandia, gifted with a mod sword to defend the realm, you too shall be able to read MTG bots' reasons for timing people out. Terminus! But the value, thank you for the 7-month resubscription there. It's a long time. Thanks for re-upping. Never miss a good chance to shut up. God bless you, MTG bot. How do you get to be a mod? At your 12-month subscription anniversary, you get a shield for your subscriber icon, and you get a mod sword. For my 1+ year subscribers are the knights who defend the realm from Twitch chat, and Lord knows we need defending from you all. That's true. Crowns get swords too, because they're nobility. Nobility are trained in the way to fight, right? Cast Wrath of God. Boots are above a shovel. Shovel is the brand new sub icon, and the 2-month icon, and the boots are the 3-month icon. 7 mana Wrath of God. We did it, chat. We've made it here. Do I regret my mathematics degree at all, or would you do it again? I know some people who have math degrees that are having a hard time finding a job right now. So I got my math degree for the best reason to get a degree, because I love doing math. My degree is what it is because I really wanted to get it, and I enjoy my content field. How many mods are there at this point? I have no idea. Are we dead? I mean, can I be dead now? Can I be dead now? I guess I could draw engineered explosives and kill both these Chalice of the Void and this soldier. I'll take one draw at engineered explosives. That is a Lightning Helix that I cannot cast. Can I keep my shovel instead of getting a sword? That is not how it works, unfortunately. I give you permission to concede. I also didn't pay for my math degree. A big part of the reason I have a graduate degree is because the school I went to paid me to go there. Glandia was a flea-ridden swamp. That's true. It is not a sanctum prelate. I can technically cast it. Now, TA shit. Most grad programs, you're a TA. You work for the school. All right. So thoughts on this build. I, believe it or not, as someone who likes being proactive in Modern, I really kind of liked having these 6 cards in my deck. They seemed pretty reasonable, and like having more cheap interaction and reach both felt good. I think these Electrolyzes should just be another Field of Ruin and a Detention Sphere in the main deck. And then let's talk about the sideboard for a hot minute. Let's compare my blue-white sideboard with this, so I just like know what I'm working off of. So my blue-white sideboard looks like what? My current blue-white sideboard is another Detention Sphere, a Stroke, a Disenchant. So like Wear Tear is just better. Oh, where'd it go? Wear Tear is just better than this, most likely. But I think I like a lot of these other things in here. I don't really think you need Baneslayer Angel too much in this archetype in my experience, so I think I'd get rid of these and one of these, and probably turn these into like another Detention Sphere. I think having two Detention Spheres is very reasonable in the 75. It's just like one of those catch-alls. That's just like very, very reasonable. And then I really like Disdainful Stroke. Disdainful Stroke right now not only is good against things like Tron and Valakut, but Disdainful Stroke is actually very good in the blue-white mirror matches because Disdainful Stroke counters Logic Knot on top of countering all their payoffs. So it counters one of their better counters, and it counters their payoffs. Yeah, but I think that's all I got. That's going to be it for me for this evening, folks. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, about 11 and a half hours from now. That's actually a good comment. I want to comment to that. Does a Detention Sphere get worse with Assassin's Trophy? So, in a world where you are playing a deck that can blank Assassin's Trophy, Detention Sphere gets worse. But this is an archetype where you're not blanking Assassin's Trophy. You're always going to have things that they're interested in killing with Assassin's Trophy. So I think overloading their trophy target is better than not. I need to check and see. I had someone ask me earlier today if I would host them when I was done, and I need to see if they're online or not, because I'm actually finishing a little bit earlier than I thought. So if Brady is on, I'm going to send you his way. Yeah, Brady is up and actually playing 4-color Geist, which is like we played earlier today. So I'm going to go ahead and send you over Brady's way. Everybody, have a good evening, and I'll catch you all in the morning.